What are the all-in costs going to be when you're buying a condo, both from a monthly standpoint and also over the course of the loan, closing costs,
Right.
all those different things?
Yeah, no, very good question. So sometimes first-time home buyers, you don't know what you don't know, right? So sometimes they think that some of the costs are reoccurring. And I always, like to share with people like a very pleasant surprise, like, hey, listen, once you buy the place, there's no more title, there's no more county, there's no more attorney, there's no more, all that stuff is done. It's all squared away at the closing table. And then after that, then it's just your monthly payment, all right? So as far as the closing costs are concerned, typically here in Chicago, we estimate it's usually right around 2% of the purchase price. So if you found a $300,000 condo, 2% would be 6. So I tell people, if you mentally prepare for $6,000 and you're okay with that, it usually comes in a little bit lower. But right when they hear that $6,000, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like $6,000 to buy this place. That's crazy. And then they think like, how much are you making, or what are you? They start trying to allocate the money, like who's getting it. So right away, I always like to let them know, listen, if you're buying a $300,000 condo and we estimate it's right around $6,000, 2 categories that are out of your control, out of mine, out of anyone's control, make up almost all that money. And they are this. One is the lovely Welcome to Chicago transfer tax, right? So it's $7.50 per thousand the purchase price. So if you have a place for $100,000, it's $750, 2, it's $1,500, and so on and so forth. So in a $300,000 condo, that's a couple grand. That's massive that you have to pay. If you bought cash, you're paying it. If you use a loan, you're paying it. If Santa Claus buys it, he's paying it. Everyone's paying it. So out of that $6,000, now we have over $2,000 gone with that. Then you have the seller's title company. So here in Illinois, it's an attorney state, and sellers have the right to choose the title company that's used. The buyers can choose it, but that's a little different of an equation. So the seller's title company, that's going to be also another $2,000, $2,500. So out of the $6,000, now like $4,500 of it is gone just like that in 2 categories that we can't control. So I let people know, listen, if you can't control it, don't worry about it. It's part of buying the place. There's ways to structure where the sellers pay for your closing costs. Right, you can build that into your offer so that the buyer just has their down payment. But typically we say it's right around 2% of the purchase price in Chicago proper. If you're in the suburbs, all the other counties are a little more friendlier, so there's not that big whack in the beginning. But if you calculate it and think about 2%, if you're happy with that, it'll come in lower.